My friends, good afternoon to all of you, to all my friends, to all human beings. This is Dr. B. Dr. B wants to talk to you today about a very, very important topic. And the topic is the organized and legalized racketeering. It's a racketeering organization that is right here in the United States, and that is absolutely legal. Legalized racketeering, guys. Dr. B cares about you. Dr. B loves you. Dr. B has been in medicine for 30 years. 30 years in medicine, guys. Dr. B's brain is full of medicine, science, chemistry, physics, biochemistry, biology, cellular biology, molecular biology, histology, physiology, anatomy, pathology, all these diseases, cardiology, neurology, gastroenterology, dermatology, physiology, CT, radiology, ultrasound, X-ray, blah, 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 MRI, you name it. Dr. B knows it. Dr. B wants to transfer his knowledge to you so that you do not get fooled and don't waste your hard-earned money on buying this stuff that you see advertised online, whether it's on TV or online, written videos, blah, 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 whatever it is. There are millions and millions and millions of websites and podcasts and video that try to sell you garbage, try to sell you stuff that has absolutely not been proven by the scientific evidence because they want your money, right? Remedies and treatments and blah blah and procedures that are just fake, that are not proven, but they care only about their bottom line, which is the mighty dollar. They want money from you. Dr. B doesn't want money from you. Dr. B is not here for money or fame or glory. He makes enough at work, way more than he needs. Dr. B cares for you. Dr. B wants you to age gracefully. So each time I will come up with these videos in an easy for you to understand, easy fashion, easy way, with no medical weird terminology that regular people who are not expert in medicine don't understand. I will always make it easy for you to understand, and I will make it to the point, no blah 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 blah, and I will never sell you anything, and I will never ever BS you. Everything Dr. B tells you is the truth, the scientific evidence, the medical scientific evidence that has been backed up by research and science. Today, guys, I want to talk to you about this legalized racketeering, this big pharma, right? The big pharma, the pharmaceutical industry that is here in the United States, but not here, just here in the United States, but also Canada, Europe, everywhere around the globe. These big pharmaceutical companies, they make hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue. Think about that. Hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue. All these corporations that we put together in the US, and we call them the big pharma. It's a legalized racketeering here in the US. Now why? Why is that? Because they have made an alliance with, on the one side, the politicians, right? The politicians that support them, because the politicians get money from the big pharma, right? In political campaign donations and travels and grants and blah, blah, blah. 5-star hotels, 5-star vacations, travel in private jets and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you name it. It is a world, guys, that you and me cannot even imagine. These luxury mansions, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, these luxury yachts and boats and everything that these people own. I mean, and not just in the US, all over the world. These guys have multi-million-dollar mansions and yachts and properties all over the world, private jets and everything, guys, right? They are part of the richest multi-millionaires, multi-billionaire people, all these people in the big pharma industry, because they make hundreds of billions of dollars thanks to selling you all these medications with the blessing of these politicians, and of course with the collaborations, not only with politicians, but also collaboration with the food industry. The food industry everywhere around the world, especially in the US and the Western societies, sell you garbage, sell you food that is full of carcinogens, toxins, and full of nitrates, fake sugar, right? Full of all this nasty stuff. I mean, the list is huge. I don't want to bore you with all these names and all this stuff. Artificial sweeteners, dyes. They put these yellow, red, and blah, 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 blue dyes into our food, our candies, our this, our that, to make it attractive to kids, to adults, and everything. So everybody buys them, and 90% of what they sell us, this food industry, is processed food, right? Processed food that is nasty. All these restaurants, all these fast food chains, pizza stuff, it's all nasty food, processed food, full of carcinogen. They give you cancer. The cancers, they give you heart failure, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, blah, 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 blah. You name it, all these chronic diseases that could be prevented, right? If there wasn't this collusion between the food industry that makes also billions and hundreds of billions of dollars all over the world, right? Just think about the beverage industry, right? Think about these big soda companies, right? Think about the wine industry. Think about the whiskey, the liquor industry, blah, blah, blah. Pushing you to drink wine full of carcinogen called alcohol. The whiskey lobby pushing you. The beer lobby, right? All these beer companies make hundreds of billions of dollars every year for you to buy the beer. That beer contains alcohol, a group 1 carcinogen, nasty stuff. Stay away from all these carcinogens, right? Don't drink alcoholic beverages, guys. And then, so the collusion between this food industry, which itself makes hundreds of billions of dollars per year all over the globe, right? Not just here, and this pharmaceutical industry, the two together, right? So the food industry makes you sick, makes you get in all these nasty chronic diseases, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart attack, stroke, kidney failure, blah, blah, you name it. And then the pharmaceutical industry, the big pharma, they come as your big savior. Ooh, look at that. We have created this medicine for you, for your diabetes, for your high blood pressure, for your anxiety disorder, for your sleeplessness, right? Because you have insomnia, you constantly eat, your tummy is so big, and you eat just before going to bed, so you just cannot fall asleep because your tummy is big, you are bloated and everything, and usually it takes you 2 or 3 hours to fall asleep, and then you are so bloated and that you just cannot maintain a regular sleep. And then of course you develop high blood pressure, diabetes. By the time you reach the age of 50, 60, 40, 70, you have a list like this, 10 medications, right? 3 for diabetes, 3 for high blood pressure, another one for cholesterol, another one, they give you these insomnia pills, right? To just put you asleep, and they make a ton of money out of that. And then there's this new medication called Ozempic and blah, 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 that has come out that who's gonna give you the body that you had when you were 20 years old. That's BS, right? Everybody knows it's BS. It's not gonna happen. And then, of course, so they make billions and billions and billions of dollars. The food industry and the pharmaceutical industry, both of them playing together this game, right? One makes you sick, the other one tries to sell you stuff to make you better and to cure you and blah, blah, blah. And of course, they both reward the doctors and the nurses and all these hospitals and clinics and everything, pushing them to just sell you these medications, right? So this big pharmaceutical industry, they send all over the world all these beautifully young representatives. They are very beautiful, cute ladies, nicely dressed, right? Beautiful dresses, and they go to these clinics and hospitals, and they have gifts and food, and they bring food and wines and blah, 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 to keep the doctors happy and everything, and to push them to prescribe this new medication, right? And of course, the doctor makes a lot of money, and the food industry makes a lot of money, and of course, the pharmaceutical industry makes a lot of money. Right? And you guys, the regular average Joe who doesn't know anything about medicine, right? They eat constantly, they get sick because they eat junk food, they eat too much of it, and of course their doctor makes a lot of money out of their sickness, and then the big pharma sells them all these medications, and it's just crazy. Now what can you do? Now first, I apologize. Why do I say that it's a big racket? Why do I say that the big pharma is a big racket here in the US? Because think about it. It takes billions of dollars, right, to do research and development, right? It costs a lot of money to find a medication, to take it through different clinical stages of development, right? You have to do trials and blah, 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 and clinical trials and all this stuff. And a lot of these medications, they fail to prove any benefit compared to a placebo, or they fail to prove any benefit compared to the medication that has already been used as the standard of care for decades, right? So a lot of these medications, a lot of these just turn out to become useless and don't turn out to become marketed medications. So it costs a lot of money for these big pharma to put a medication, to do the research, development, blah, 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 and to put it into market, right? Now, obviously it costs a lot of money and billions of dollars. Now, who pays for these billions of dollars of research and development? Well, the pharmaceutical industry has decided that it will be the United States of America's consumers who will pay for that. So what they do is that all over the world, right, they sell their medication with a price that is extremely low. So they actually lose money, or they don't make any money at all out of those medications that they sell in Canada, Australia, Europe, Japan, China, blah, 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 blah. So because they don't make any money over there, they say, you know what, we're gonna ask the American consumer, the sick patients in America, to pay high cost of these medications so that we, the pharmaceutical industry, make a lot of money, right? So it's basically because the Europeans, the Canadians, the Australians, the Japanese, all over the world, they would never, ever, 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 ever pay. They would not put up with that, right? The huge cost that the American sick patients have to pay for medications. In Europe, they don't put up with that. They will tell the pharmaceutical, get out of this. So in Europe, in Canada, in Australia, other developed countries, and even in the other countries, they sign contracts, right, with the big pharmaceutical industry that, you know what, this is going to be the price that you're going to have to sell your medications to our people. But in America, the politicians, they don't want that. So they allow this legalized racket. They allow the pharmaceutical industry to charge you and overcharge you thousands, hundreds of dollars for simple medications, right? People pay hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars every month for their medications, right? A lot of these insurance companies, they don't cover them. Medicare doesn't cover it. Even if they do, then their insurance premium goes up, and our insurance premiums goes up all the time. Eventually, this racketeering allows the pharmaceutical industry to pay for their research and development with the American sick people, not the sick people in Europe, right? Or in Australia or Canada or Japan or China, blah, blah, blah. But it's the American consumer, healthcare consumers, who pay for that. That's why I say that it's a legalized racketeering, right? Europe doesn't put up with that nonsense, right, of selling a little medication like this for hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars. They don't do that. Canada doesn't do that either. Australia doesn't put up with that, right? Japan's not going to put up with that nonsense of selling a little injection like this, right, for thousands of dollars and blah, 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 right? It's just not going to happen. But in the US, the politicians who are in cahoot with the big pharma and the food industry, they allow that to happen. They have legalized, right, this racket, right? Now, I come to my last point. What can you do? What can you, as a average Joe, average Jane, the regular person who doesn't know medicine like Dr. B, what can you do? Well, you can do something very easy, and that is to not buy those medications, right? And how can you avoid buying those medications? Well, you need to follow Dr. B, right? Dr. B's advices, Dr. B's advice, Dr. B's guidance, so that you don't get sick, so that you don't need those medications, right? Dr. B just turned 50 years old. Dr. B doesn't need no medication for diabetes, high blood pressure, and sleep disorders, anxiety disorders, right? Chronic degenerative diseases, irritable bowel syndrome, heart attacks, strokes, kidney failure, congestive heart failure, blah, 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 you name them. Dr. B doesn't have any of those. So Dr. B is not going to pay any money to the big pharma, right? He's not going to accept that racket, right? By staying healthy, you will avoid to be a victim of this legalized racketeering and the collusion between the food industry and the big pharma and the politicians, right? So you have to follow Dr. B. Follow me, guys. Listen to me. Watch my other videos so that you can understand what I'm talking about, all these different conditions that I'm talking about, right? Dr. B sleeps 9 hours a night, religiously, no exception, 365 nights per year. Dr. B goes to bed at 9 o'clock, wakes up at 6 o'clock. My brain wakes me up at 6 o'clock automatically with no alarm clock, right? Dr. B exercises 2 hours a day. Dr. B has a work that makes him happy, that has low stress, right? Dr. B comes to his apartment in Mountain View, California. He has a low stress life after work, right? Dr. B loves medicine. Dr. B loves you, loves his patients, right? Dr. B eats not only just healthy, unprocessed food. I never eat processed food, right? I eat healthy food, unprocessed, no sugar, no salt, no nitrates, no nitrites, no freaking sugar substitutes, right? All these fake sugars, no sodas, no beer, no wine, no whiskey, no nothing. No freaking alcohol, no smoking, no marijuana. Stay away from alcohol. Stay away from cigarettes. Stay away from marijuana. They're poisons, right? Stay away from processed food. They are poisons. And Dr. B also not only he eats healthy and unprocessed food, he eats a very small amount of food, right? Dr. B opens his mouth only 3 times per day for food. The rest of the time the mouth is zipped, right? Dr. B has a healthy breakfast in the morning, a small breakfast. It's not a big English breakfast with freaking sausages and meat, nasty stuff, and oh my God, all this stupid processed food that they eat. My breakfast is healthy, is a little bit, right? A little bit of nuts, right? Olive oil, walnuts, eggs. Not too much yolk, right? Not too many yolks. The yolk is too much cholesterol. A few yolks, but a lot of the white part and the ovalbumin. Very healthy for you. And also, Dr. B, in this breakfast, maybe a little orange juice, a little bit, right? Not too much sugar. Fruit juices and fruits and a lot of vegetables have too much sugar. You need to cut back after a certain age, right? When you're young, it's okay. After a certain age, right? And of course, a little bit of yogurt, right? Fat-free yogurt, no sugar, no nothing, right? No sweeteners and erythritol and sorbitol, xylitol, and all this nasty stuff that they put as fake sugar, right? No. None of that. And a little bit of protein powder, pure protein powder, whey protein or pea protein, right? Mixed with some healthy 100% cocoa powder, not processed with alkali. Guys, cocoa powder is a superfood, right? Full of minerals, vitamins, antioxidants, right? Proanthocyanidins. The proanthocyanidins are the most powerful antioxidants in the universe. It is there's full of it in cocoa powder. I drink cocoa powder that I mix just with water, just like I would drink tea, right, or coffee, right. I drink cocoa powder that I dilute in hot water. It's bitter, but it tastes so good, just like coffee, right? No sugar, no freaking milk, no freaking anything in my coffee, in my tea, or in my cocoa drink, right? So that's my breakfast, a small breakfast, right? And then at lunch, it's a tiny little snack, a few nuts, a little bit of olive oil, and of course 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, 1 tablespoon of pure 100% tomato paste, and I do the same thing at night. So I don't go to bed at night with my belly full of pizza, burgers, and salad and everything, So I sleep, I put my head, and after 2 minutes, like a baby, I fall asleep and I wake up at 6 o'clock. Maybe in the middle, once in a while, I wake up one time to go pee, and that's it. I come back, I sleep again like a baby, right? So this is what you have to do, right? You need to exercise, you need to eat healthy, you need to eat a little bit, you need to zip this mouth, you need to keep your brain happy, entertained with knowledge, science, read a book, learn a craft, learn a skill, right? Have a work environment that is happy, that makes you happy, right? Don't look for constant, endless entertainment, right? Because then it's a sign that you're not happy. If you need to constantly eat food, if you need to constantly, like a kid, eat food, and constantly, like a kid, be entertained, then there's something missing in your life. I mean, your life is empty. It means you're not happy somewhere, right? And again, I'm not talking when you are a kid or when you're a teenager or a very young adult. It's normal when you're a kid, a young teenager, a young adult to constantly try to look for food and entertainment. But when you're a mature adult, you need to stay away from that. You know what I'm saying? You need to find a different meaning in life, right? As I said in my other video, for me, food is in the little corner of my life, right? Food is in that little tiny corner, right? My life is, I give meaning to my life by doing other things, right? My job, my patience, you, I care about you, I love you, whoever the cazzo you are, any human being you are, regardless of your gender, sexual orientation, color, blah, 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 race, I don't give a cazzo. I love you, I'm here for you. I'm not here for the money, the glory, the fame. I made so much money at work. I don't need it, right? So that's what you have to do in order to not get involved into this racketeering, to not fall a victim of this racketeering organization called the Big Pharma, right? So it's a combination of everything, right, in order to be healthy. And then, like Dr. B, you will be healthy like a little baby. You will have a flat tummy. You will have no love handles, just like Dr. B. I have absolutely no fat under my skin, maybe a few tiny millimeters like that, tiny like that of fat, right? And I have absolutely no visceral fat, right? If I take the ultrasound probe, I put it on my belly flat like a board, and inside there is absolutely no belly fat, right? No visceral fat. Visceral fat, also called visceral fat, whatever you want to pronounce it is okay, is a disaster for you. It is increasing your risk of dementia, cardiovascular disease, atherosclerosis. A lot of nasty disorders, chronic illnesses are linked to this accumulation of fat inside, right? I see patients, guys, who have absolutely no fat under their skin. The skin is thin like mine, right? But their belly is like a 6, 7, 8, 9-month pregnant woman. The guy comes to the clinic, right? He's absolutely thin, right? Upper body thin, his buttocks are thin, his arms are thin, right? He has absolutely no fat under his skins, right? Just like Dr. B. But my God, the belly is big, right? Huge belly. That belly is full of visceral fat. Not only visceral fat, but gas, right? So I percuss the tummy like this, and it feels like a drum. Means his intestines are full of air, freaking air in his intestine, right? So he not only has massive amount of fat, I can see it with the ultrasound probe, right? Remember, I'm an ultrasound expert, Dr. B, ultrasound expert, medical ultrasound expert in all field of medical sonography. I can see the visceral fat, but I can see this intestine that is just full of gas, full of poop. This poor guy just cannot have his intestine empty, his poop and all this gas and everything. So he's bloated, he's ballooned like a big stuff like that. And his doctor says, you know what, you have irritable bowel syndrome, right? IBS. No, he does not. He doesn't have no IBS. He's just putting so much food in his belly that his poor intestine cannot handle it anymore. Do you remember when we were kids, teenagers, kids, young adults? I mean, I used to eat constantly during the entire day, stuffing my mouth and my stomach with food, hour after hour. After breakfast, I had another sandwich. Before lunch, I had a cake at work. And and then I had lunch, big lunch, freaking lunch, big pizza, dessert, everything. And then would come another ice cream at 2 o'clock. And then while I was at work, I would chew on another stuff. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then after work, I would go to the gym and then come back, eat huge freaking dinner. After dinner, get hungry, have a salad, have an ice cream. But for God's sake, I'm 50 years old now. I cannot do that. If I do that, I'm going to have a lot of fat under my skin. I'm going to have a lot of fat, visceral fat, and I'm going to be like all these patients that I see, bloated, because my intestine, guys, I'm 50 years old, right? My intestine is also 50 years old. So it can no longer handle all this massive amount of food that people give to their intestine. Go ahead, put this, shove it in, and eat this salad, cake, pizza, burrito, burger, blah blah blah. At the end of a day, right, the guy has swallowed 10 pounds of food, right, and probably 7,000 calories, right? So you have to keep in mind that all this food that you eat, your intestine cannot handle it anymore. It cannot propel, digest it, right? You have less, your pancreas produces less pancreatic juice, less pancreatic enzymes, right? Your stomach produces less hydrochloric acid, less gastrin, right? So less pepsin, right, to digest the food in your stomach. Remember, digestion starts in your mouth. Your salivary glands produce less amylase to digest all this starch that you eat constantly, because you're 50 years old, you're 45, you're 60, you're 70, you're 75. You need to cut it off to some extent. And then, of course, your intestine gets so much food, and it's an old intestine. It's 50, 60, 70, 80, 75, 65. You want to retire now, but your belly's big because you think your intestine didn't get old. But the same way you got old, your intestine also got old, right? Your intestine is your age. So you have to not pack it with food, like that, let this food constantly, and then think that your intestine is going to be able to the next day digest what you ate and eliminate it in form of poop. It's just not going to happen, right? So it's going to accumulate in your colon, and next thing you know, you're bloated, your big intestine, right? Your colon is packed with air, with poop. Even if you poop once or twice, it's just not enough because there's so much of it inside. So the solution is not to go see your doctor and he's going to say, oh, look at that, you have irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, I'm going to give you this medication, or blah, blah, blah. No, the solution is to stop eating that much food, this bulk of food and all these calories, right? So that you lose your belly fat, so that you lose your visceral fat, so that you lose all this air and poop that you have in your intestine. My tummy is flat like a board, no fat under my skin, no gas in my bowel, no poop. And when Dr. B poops, when I poop, tiny amount like that, like a little goat, right? Have you ever seen how a goat poops? It's a little bit, right? Like my ex-girlfriend's dog. My ex-girlfriend, she had this little poodle, right? This little poodle dog, this tiny little poodle. The little dog, each time he would poop, tiny little poop like that, right? So this is how I poop, a tiny bit. No air, nothing. And I poop twice a day, tiny bit like that, tiny little pellets of poop, right? And I'm done, right? When I look at my intestine, my tummy, with the ultrasound probe that I put, my God, it's so beautiful to look. And my kidney, my liver, my heart, everything, my bladder, my prostate, my pancreas, so beautiful, those of a baby, right? My ex-girlfriend, right? All of them. My sister, her husband, her kids, they go to poop, right? 2 or 3 times per day. Think about that. Each time they poop, big freaking poop, right? I still remember 2 years ago, right? My ex-girlfriend, she comes to my apartment, right? She goes to poop, right? And then she comes, she says, listen, I'm so embarrassed to tell you, but your toilet is plugged. I'm like, what do you mean my toilet is plugged? I had never had any. I've been in this apartment for a few years, right? My apartment is super clean, right? Not even a grain of dust. My bathroom, kitchen, toilet, everything super crisp, mint, clean, right? My toilet is cleaner than the living room of 90% of the American people, because I'm such a cleaning freak that you will not see not even a grain of dust, not even a germ, not even, I don't know, not even a tiny little bug, not even nothing, right? Not even a mosquito, not even a fly, nothing in my apartment. My bathtub, my shower, my kitchen, my toilet seat, super, super, super clean, hygienic, right? So she comes, she tells me, listen, I'm sorry, but I feel embarrassed. Your toilet is plugged. So I'm like, what the cats? What happened? It never happened to her. So I go and I look, I say, listen, she says, please don't go. I feel embarrassed because I pooped. And after I pooped, it got plugged. I flushed and it got plugged. So I'm like, really, it's okay. I'm a doctor, right? I've seen millions of poops and pee and everything, bodily fluids, blood, sputum, nasal secretions, poop, pee, vaginal fluid, semen, you name it. There's nothing I haven't seen, nothing I haven't smelled, and it doesn't bother me at all. For me, it's just biological fluid. You know, it's like a dog goes to poop or a cat goes to poop. So what about it? It's no big deal. So I explained to her, and I said, listen, I need to go check the toilet, but don't worry about it. Guys, I go to the toilet. My God, what the cats, is that, right? There is this black dog, like a huge, thick anaconda, big snake, into my toilet bowl. I'm like, well, it was her poop, right? My God, I had never in my life seen a poop huge, big like that. Now, this wasn't a big girl, right? She was an average size. Obviously, she was a little bit chubby. But everybody's different. I'm not criticizing. I swear to God, I love every human being the same. I'm a doctor. I'm not here to criticize your fat or your this or your that. I don't give a cat. So I'm here to help you get healthy. I'm here to help you have lower amount of fat, because fat is not healthy for you, right? So I'm not judgmental. So this girl was a little bit chubby, but she wasn't a big girl. She wasn't so that tall that you would think, wow, so she has big intestine, right? Because she's a tall girl and big girl, she must have a lot of, a huge length of intestine to produce this anaconda, this python that I saw in my toilet, right? No. This woman who just enjoyed, she was kind of young, in her 30s, right? So her life was still surrounded by food and centered around food. She was just constantly stuffing her mouth with endless amount of food, day and night and afternoon and lunch, and constantly, like a kid, or like when I was a teenager or a young adult, right? And this was the first time that I saw her poop, because that was the first time that poop was so huge, massive, a big, thick poop like that, long, like an anaconda, circling into my toilet bowl, right? No amount of flushing could have help flush this anaconda down the toilet. You would need a hole like this at the bottom of your toilet seat, right? So it was the first time that I was seeing her poop. And in a kind of nice way, I told her, listen, after obviously I cleaned, I don't want to go into the detail of how I cleaned that toilet bowl, even though I don't care about that. I didn't even wear masks, right? Even though it was smelling poop all over the place, right? But I don't care. I'm a doctor. I have smelled everything, poop, pee, during my 30 years career in medicine, right? So I don't want to go into the details of how I eventually flushed that poop down the toilet, right? I had to just, anyways, let's pass the details. After I cleaned up and disinfected that toilet bowl, my entire bathroom and the air and blah, 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 I sat down in a kind of nice way. She felt embarrassed that I saw her poop, right? I said, listen, don't worry, blah, blah, blah. And I told her, listen, that poop that you saw is probably 100 times bigger than my poop. My poop, tiny little pellets like a goat, or like the little tiny poodle of my ex-girlfriend, right? Tiny little poops like that. Your poop, an anaconda, a python, right? My poops are 1,000 times smaller than yours. And she asked me, but how come? What should I do? Blah, blah. And I told her, listen, you need to eat less bulk of food. Try to not fall into this trap that when you eat a salad, it is healthy for you. Because there's salad and salad, right? A salad, guys, with all the dressing and all the stuff that they put in addition to the salad, all the stuff they put inside can reach 1,000 to 2,000 calories, right? These salads. And then this bulk of salad, if you eat just once a day, in addition to the other food, well, if you're young like my ex-girlfriend, you're going to make a huge poop. It's going to go in the toilet, right? But if you are a certain age, like 45, 50, 60, retirement adult age, right, mature adult, your intestine cannot handle that. So you're going to be bloated, you're going to be full of poop, right? But my ex-girlfriend, she was young, so her intestine was still able to handle it, right? So she was not bloated, right? Because her intestine, stuffing that intestine with pounds and pounds and pounds of food, the bulk of food, right? Every day she was still able to eliminate it in form of massive poops that I had never seen before, and that was the first time I saw it. So it is very, 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 very important for you to do that. So this constellation of health advices that I give you, please follow them because I care for you, right? I love you. I love medicine. I will never retire. God willing, I'll be with you for the next decades until I'm 50 years. I'm 50 years old. Another 50 years being with you, God willing, right? So follow my advice so that you stay away from needing any medication. Follow my advice so that you won't need to be prescribed diabetes medication, high blood pressure medication, medication for your kidney, heart failure, blah, 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 blah. Right? I love you guys. I appreciate your patience with me. I appreciate you following me. I appreciate you being human and watching me. And I love you. I love you back. My patients love me and I love you back. And I give you a big hug from far away. And I hope to see you in my next video. God bless you all.